Bat family, and welcome to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. You can find us all over the socials as Holy BatCast on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast and you will find us. If you love the show and you want to support it, you can do that on Patreon. You go to patreon.com/HolyBatCast. And as always, a big old thank you to our patrons. Got to give a shout out to a brand new patron, Mr. Christopher Duran. Christopher, hi. Thank you so much. That's so sweet and generous, and I hope you know it's appreciated. So, Christopher, you're awesome. You're an official part of the Bat family, and this one goes out to you. So, big thank you to Christopher, and a big thank you to all our patrons for just being supportive and helping us keep the show, and it really does mean a lot. So, love you guys. We're part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Twitter, X, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Threads. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. This episode it's going back to just a basics episode where we talk about the news, what's been going on, review an episode of The Batman, and try to get through more emails. Nice and simple. I love that. And joining me this week is neither of my two regular Bat co-hosts because they're too busy for me. They can't find the time. That's fine. I'm not taking it personally. I'm okay. But I am very happy to have a special guest, and you've heard him on the show before, and this is his triumphant return. He's been a good friend of the show for years now, and I loved chatting with him when he was on last, which I didn't even realize was as long ago as it was. It was like over a year now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
My Easter.
Wow. Time does fly. But anyway, it's Ricky Garcia, a.k.a. Ricky Wingding. Hi, Ricky. Welcome back.
What's up, Andy?
You know, yeah, same old.
And since this is my second time on the show, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you my second favorite Batman movie.
That's fine. Every time we'll go down the list. No, it's great to have you back. I'm glad that you were available because, like I said, I really enjoyed talking to you last time and just worked out this way. And you don't have to share the spotlight with no Brendan and no Jamie. Just me and you.
I like menages, but, one-on-one is good.
Sometimes, yeah. Again, back to basics.
That's right.
Sometimes you just got to keep it simple. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about a lot of random Batman and DC stuff. Before that, of course, I've got to give a shout out to our friends over at Manscaped. So this episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions, Manscaped. This season, make sure to groom your carpets and the drapes with the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Clear out that winter bush with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and watch your confidence bloom like springtime flowers. Embrace the season. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our special offer. Go to manscaped.com and use the code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. That's BATSCAPED. You save a little money. It gets shipped for free. They ship it surprisingly quickly, and you got your products right there waiting for you, making and helping you look better and feel better. So the Manscaped stuff is great. I swear by their trimmers. I now swear also by their deodorant and their little nail clippers. And so I've pretty much switched all of my grooming stuff to Manscaped, not only because they sponsor the show, but because it's good quality stuff and they're very generous. And you know what? Like if you're you've got to groom, you might as well treat yourself and get the good stuff. So Manscaped stuff is really, really good. Been happy with everything that I've tried from them. I also I've been giving the shout out since it came out just because I like it so much. The Handyman face shaver. It's surprisingly affordable, and like as far as face shavers go, it is great. So if you're someone who hates shaving traditionally, because I know I do, especially in the morning when I'm groggy, I just can use the Handyman, trim it up, look nice, go to work, and it saves me time, it saves me trouble. So the Handyman, I'm a big fan of. If you're looking for the all-purpose trimmer, up or down, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is really as good as it gets. So all good stuff. Go to manscaped.com, look around, no pressure. But if anything, you're like, you know what? I need one of those. Get it. Buy it for yourself. You're worth it. And use the promo code BATSCAPED. Get that 20% off. Get that free shipping at manscaped.com. They also have a lot of beard products if you're a beardy person. I'm not a beardy person, so I'll be honest. I haven't tried them. Yeah, I'm not a very hairy person. Not that y'all need to know that. And so the beard hedger, wasn't made for me. But for those of you out there who keep a beard, I'm sure that the Beard Hedger Pro is great too. So go to manscaped.com, use the promo code BATSCAPED. We would love it, and I know that you'll love it too. So thank you to Manscaped, and thank you to everybody who has ordered from them in the past and used that promo code, because you are also helping out Holy BatCast in the process, and that really means a lot to me. So thank you guys.
I have one.
You got one? Which
yeah,
one you get?
It was a while ago. It was a year and a half ago, so I must have the 3.0.
Oh, okay. Well,
I will say I like the travel bag that comes with too. It has this
Yeah,
really cool travel bag that the last couple times I traveled, that's the one that I've taken with me.
it's great. I mean, and honestly, I'd recommend, like, if you want the sampler platter, I can't remember what the name of it's called. I think it's like the Peak Performance Kit or something like that.
One,
But yeah, but it's like the trimmer, the bag, the deodorant, a boxers, and like one more thing I can't remember. Maybe it's the ball toner.
Yeah, it's a toner, and I think maybe some wipes that it comes with.
Yeah, so it's like a little bit of everything, and it goes
great
with the travel bag, and it's great. So you can kind of see what you like and what works for you. But basically, it's worth it just for the trimmer, and then you get all that other stuff. So I'm glad you like yours. It's really good stuff.
I'm jealous of the purple one though.
So am I. I never got my purple one, and I'm still a little sad about it.
Put a little yellow bat symbol on it. It's the Batgirl trimmer.
Oh, see, well, maybe when it comes out next time, I'm not going to wait, because this time I waited because I thought they were going to send me one, and they never did. And I was like, and then they're like, oh, we're sorry, we meant to, and
the email got lost.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, it's fine. But if they ever release a purple one again, I will buy it just because purple.
Yeah.
Because like Vicky Vale, I love purple. All right.
Think of Sean delivering that line now. Going back.
I know. Okay.
I can't think of a bunch of lines not delivered by Basinger. It's just, those episodes. I'm jumping the gun. Good.
That's okay. No, I've always had a hard time picturing Sean Young in that role.
Yeah.
And yes, it's because we've now lived with Kim Basinger for 35 years doing it. But even so, you're right. Like, trying to picture her in those scenes, it just feels different.
Because when you guys were doing that, I was trying to put it in my mind's eye. Okay, sit down. I know the voices, except Sean Young. I could kind of. I don't know if she was going to do the same thing she was doing in Ace Ventura or not. And you guys did an amazing job, because it got me there enough to where I go, I can kind of see it, but I don't want to sound mean to Sean, but I think Basinger was the great.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I hate to say it for Sean Young, right?
And her family.
But I think it worked out the way it was supposed to, because Kim Basinger is really great in the movie.
Yeah.
I haven't watched parts 2 and 3 yet and we're talking about Icons on Earth, excuse me. Last episode, we talked about episode 1. I have not watched 2 and 3 yet, although I got to give a shout out to a couple listeners out there who have been very kind to make sure that I can watch the.
Oh, okay, good. I just want to ask.
I'm not saying how or why, but big shout out to our pal Stuart from Guernsey, and a big shout out to Jim Scroggs. Both of these guys are making sure that I have access to additional episodes of Icons on Earth. So thank you guys.
Very nice.
That's very nice. So yeah, I still got 2 and 3 to watch. I'm going to hopefully watch it this weekend, but I heard 2 gets even spicier than 1.
Okay. All right.
And then 3 I heard is very entertaining, but like not as much scandalous. We'll see.
They got to hook us in, Got to get
exactly.
So in your face. Yeah.
But it went from, there's a new Batman documentary, I already know all that stuff, to being like, and I really got to watch the rest of them. So kudos to Vice TV on that.
Is this something you're going to recommend to the normies that you know in your life? Because the only other Batman documentary that I recommend is the one on Hulu, Batman and Me, or Batman and I, the one about Bill Finger.
Oh, Batman and Bill.
Yeah, Batman and Bill. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Batman and Bill.
That's the book. Yeah.
Yeah, I would if anyone asked.
Okay.
but I'm not going out like at Starbucks and going, "Hey, thanks for the latte, but by the way, you know what you need to be watching." I'm not doing that, but yes, for anybody who has like an interest in Batman, who is like, "Hey, I heard about this thing, should I watch it?" I'd be like, "Absolutely watch it."
Gotcha.
So it's good. It's definitely worth the time. But that's what we talked about last time. And so this time we got to catch up on what's been happening around the DC universe, specifically Batman focused, but there's a little non-Batman in there. The first thing I want to call out, just because it was a little surprising to me, this one, I got to thank Batman News for putting this up, because I was unaware until I saw it. And that is that Max keeps doing as Max does. They've taken 30 DC titles off the service.
Yeah.
So frustrating. They have a DC hub. on Max.
Yeah.
They have a button that I can push that says DC, and they're pulling stuff out of it.
My favorite one is the HBO button. It just
Right?
feels like an oxymoron.
It's so bizarre. So I already own a lot of this stuff, but here's the one that irks me the most, which is going to sound silly, but go with me. It's Scooby Doo and Crypto 2. And here's why I'm irked. That one just came out.
Yeah.
And it had been on my to watch list for only a couple months. It just came out at the end of last year. It's already gone. And so now I either have to buy it or see where it might pop up next. Like the rest of these, it's like it kind of is a bummer for people who count on Max to get their DC content, but a lot of them are like the animated films that I already own. So personally, I'm a little less annoyed by it. But for the stuff that like Scooby Doo and Crypto 2, it just came out and you're already pulling it off your service. It's crazy.
It's it is interesting going from different service platforms when you open up HBO Max to Netflix, because as we've been reviewing the Batman, I lost track of where I was because I started on HBO Max. And when I went to go watch another episode to catch up, it was gone. I go, huh, this is not one of the shows that I've bought. I don't have it digitally. So crap, what do? I guess I'll have to just wait to figure out who has it. And then lo and behold, I open up Netflix and there it is. I'm like, what are you guys doing? I don't understand.
Listen, I'm realistic. I get that you need to make money. I know you're a
But
business.
it's Warner Brothers. Like, where's the synergy? This is why you guys are losing.
It's madness. It's mad. So, and here's the funny part is they pulled the Batman off Max and moved it to Netflix, and then they put it back on Max. So now currently it's on both.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I don't know. They did it. So, I mean, there's a difference between selling the rights and selling exclusive rights. So my hunch is that's what's going on with the Batman animated series is they didn't sell exclusive rights to Netflix, but Netflix is paying them something to have it on their service, and that way they can keep it on Max.
I would love for your show if you can get a hold of somebody who does this stuff. Like, yeah, I sell the rights, we do this, we do that, we talk to different companies. Because an explanation for this would be, I would be like, edge of my seat because I would love to know.
I know. Well, do you know what's funny is
You talked about this, yeah, I remember this.
I have talked about it. So when I worked at Warner Brothers, and now, God, oh my God, now it was 13 years ago, maybe 14 years ago. So it's been a while. When I worked there, what I did was I managed the availability of WB movies internationally, digitally.
Oh, you must have had a great title.
It was
international development.
It was digital distribution, so it's not that great. But it was enlightening. But it was a lot to keep track of, and I had to do it internationally, and the windows of time were different for every region.
Man, and you love a spreadsheet, so if you're saying it's difficult,
I think that's part of why I love spreadsheets is because, man, I got really good at them with that job.
Okay.
And so it just became the language I spoke. So that's why in the past I've been able to speak to some of that. Mm-hmm. But as far as this goes, and that's what I believe based on what I do know is that you can sell exclusive rights to content. And that means, I'm selling it to Netflix, and that means it can only be on Netflix for the next 6 months. Or it's non-exclusive rights, which means Netflix is going to pay me less, but it also means I can do the same elsewhere.
Interesting.
That's my hunch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Point is, if you want to go to Max to see all of the content they actually own, you know that this is a crapshoot and a lot of this stuff is gone. So some of the things that are, again, as a lot of the animated movies, which how much can you be making by licensing that stuff out? But whatever. But some of the bigger ones are the Supergirl movie from 1984, Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. Again, a lot of animated stuff Under the Red Hood, Green Lantern, Justice League Doom, Dark Knight Returns animated.
Some really good ones, like
yeah.
Tier 1 DC animated movies.
Batman Hush. Anyway, so if any of these are ones that you need to catch up on, you're going to have to just do a little searching to see where they landed.
Or do what I do and buy all of them and put the digital versions on your Apple, your movies.
Well, and that again, that is for the most part where I am is I own 90% of these, at least digitally, if not both. So it's less of a annoyance for me personally, and more just in general annoyance of like, you guys just why are you making it so hard on your fans to find
Yeah,
your stuff?
especially the kids. Like, Jamie always talks about like getting kids involved into the next iteration of DC fans, and we want this. This is how they access the digital library. I always tell people with kids in their preteens and teens. I say, hey, if you want to get them into DC, Batman, Titans, Justice League, go to Max. All their stuff is there, and now it's gonna have to be like Google it and
What's
figure it out,
there is
man.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, the other side of the coin is there is more content coming to Max, and one of those pieces of content is the Penguin series from the Batman live action universe, not the Batman animated universe, the Batman live action. The what is it? The Epic Crime Saga or something like that, right? Didn't they use that
At the tag at the
catchphrase?
end. Yeah.
Yeah, old tag.
Yeah.
So we did get the
Matt
first
Reeves
teaser
line.
for the Penguin. I'll be honest. The reason we haven't talked about it up till now is it's very much a teaser. I didn't feel like there was enough to like dedicate an episode to or anything. It's pretty straightforward, but it is worth mentioning now that we're doing a little catch up on the news. So we got the official teaser of the Penguin, which is not to be confused with the production teaser that came out last year. This is like the teaser.
All prior to the strike. Gotcha.
Right. But it is official. And so for those who are bummed that the Batman Part 2 has been kicked down the road another year, at least they have the Penguin to look forward to at the end of this year. So, Ricky, what did you think of the Penguin teaser?
I really now understand why Colin Farrell wanted to do this, because it felt very dramatic. It felt really emotional. I could you could tell he's really into it, and I can't help but also now feel the same. Like, oh wow, I can't wait to watch this too. He looks like he's going for it. I mean, you know, what you say about awards. I mean, he's this dude can win an Emmy for this. He looks locked in, and it looks
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. If you're a fan of anything related to mafia movies or crime, it's going to be really interesting, because I still don't know which way they're going to take this, because going back to Matt Reeves's movie, the tone, everything is grounded. However, like that first shot of Gotham City, it does have an element of fantastical in it, but then when they zoom in and it's just him and there's people screaming and stuff on fire and gunshots, and it looks like it can go from 0 to 60 really quick at any given scene. And
Mm-hmm.
I will also be curious as to how much Matt Reeves directed. Like, they haven't said how many episodes, have they? 8, 6?
I think the series itself is 8 episodes,
Okay. So
but hold on, I just had it here.
yeah, I was trying to look for it while I was
the
rambling.
the the executive producer on the show is Craig Zobel, and he also directed the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
So I don't know if Matt Reeves directed any of it or if he's just producing.
Gotcha. And if we get other characters, like I do, I mean, as much as some of us, I thought the Batman was okay. I did love Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
If his involvement is if pretty major, I mean, if you're going to be fighting a mob boss, you're going to obviously need cops to fight that. I can't wait, because I think it could be the Batman 1.5 if they do it correctly.
Honestly, that's really what it looks like to
Yeah.
me. And that's why I said on the last episode is even though the Batman Part 2 is getting delayed a year and we just don't know if that will be the end or if it will continue, because the Penguin, you've got 8 hours of the Penguin, which I agree with you. I understand why Colin Farrell would agree to it because it's 8 hours. It is a bigger commitment than a film, but not by a ton. And also, he's the star. It's all him. And you can see he's having a blast doing it. This feels like, yeah, it feels almost like a long movie. It feels very consistent in tone to the Batman film. And so for people who love the Batman film, this does feel like more of the same. And it will be, I think, a very effective bridge as they wait for the next film.
Yeah, and I'm not going to psych myself up too much into seeing Pattinson, but if we did get him, I mean, that would have show leaps and bounds as to whether or not the Batman 2 is coming, or if they feel confident in it, if people will be recipient to that. I would love it, but again, I'm not going to put my hopes up too much. I mean, heck, we could get some Catwoman, maybe some Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's funny because I know that we're all trying to be like, well, don't, it's a penguin. Don't get bummed if Bruce doesn't show up or Batman doesn't show up, but you can't help it. You can't help it. Like, it is a spin-off of the Batman. You at least want a little bit of Batman in there somehow, even if it's just discussed, or it would be a great way to have the finale is to have Pattinson show up for a cameo one way or the other.
it's
So
funny that you say that, because for us Batman fans as we are, we have so much Batman media, but if you give us the hint or a tease that maybe we get a little bit more Batman, we're always right there.
I know.
What is wrong with us?
We'll always take more. Come on.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
always have more pizza. Like, I will never be full.
I guess I
So
would also just love to see this, and this is what I would do if you said, Ricky, you're in charge of the Penguin. I go, all right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have scenes in the Penguin where we're working on, Pattinson's cave, his car, his suit. We're making improvements so that when we jump to the Batman 2, it's not so jarring. Like
mhm.
you get the flow of it. Like, this is all organic. This is from one thing to the other. Batman, please stop using the squirrel suit. Now use your bat wings to glide. Just there's little things that I would do so that when it's time to do the movie, you've done so much of the groundwork already.
Listen, man, I'd put you in charge. Well, because that teaser came out and then Colin Farrell is out there, he is promoting another movie. Oh no, it's a series called Sugar on Apple Plus. Of course, people are asking about the Penguin. So he's made a few comments about the Penguin. Here's what he said. He said it's really dark and really heavy. It's one man's rise to what he always dreamed of inhabiting, which is a certain power or social status. And the death of Carmine Falcone at the end of the Batman leaves this vacuum in Gotham to be filled. So there are various people that are all grabbing for that power, and this is Oswald's journey trying to rise to the top through extraordinary obstacles. And then in a separate interview, he continued, he said, it is very dark and it is very violent. If it was a movie, it would definitely be rated R. So how do you feel about that?
I'm thinking we're getting that Goodfellas vibe, getting that treatment, which I'm excited because I've always loved the element of Gotham City where you have true mafioso elements, as well as men who shoot ketchup and mustard at Batman. Like, that's what makes the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
So I do like this, and it kind of harkens back to Batman Year One and some of that Year Two stuff. And I've always thought that on film that would look really great.
Yeah. So, I mean, they are definitely leaning into the organized crime aspect, which is something that we all pretty much knew.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're not holding back. And listening to Colin Farrell talk about this and describe what the show is, the image that keeps popping into my head is that image from the first season of Daredevil when Kingpin crushes that dude's head
The car door, yeah.
in the car door.
Oh gosh,
That's what I'm picturing.
brought to you
for the
by
Penguin.
Disney.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing as Colin Farrell's talking about this. Is I'm like, oh my God, the Penguin's going to mess some people up in his rise to power, and it's going to be gory and it's going to be violent. So
We're going to get his umbrella origin, aren't we?
you know what? That'd be great. I would love it. So just and the teaser, it certainly looks dark. It certainly looks violent. So all this seems to be gelling with what he is saying.
I do like those shots of the alleyway and Gotham City and just the grunginess. I do like that. I'm not gonna lie, that does excite me because I like those back alley fights and like what you said, that Daredevil look where it's
yeah.
It's just you kind of don't know what's happening, but you can see clearly. But it has that noir gothic feel, and I want that.
Sweet. Well, that's what we're gonna get. And again, for me, the teaser, I was like, yeah, it looks like the movie, and that's definitely Colin Farrell as Oz. But to me, it didn't give me a lot of new things to get particularly excited about. It was just like, yeah, like that's them, and it's coming, and it looks consistent. So great, looking forward to seeing more. And so it's interesting, and it will be coming our way this fall. So I'm sure we'll be getting a real trailer sometime, in the not too distant future.
Yeah, look forward to the weekly breakdown here on Holy BatCast every week to discuss.
Great. Someone else out there doing interviews is Michael Keaton. And Michael Keaton sat down with GQ to talk about some of his biggest roles. And he talked a little bit, of course, about Batman. And so when asked about Batman, he said, to be honest, I never thought about Batman. It was always Bruce Wayne. Who's Bruce Wayne? You start with that. He witnesses the murder of his parents. That's a lot to start with, especially the Frank Miller approach, which is what we took. And also determining with Tim that he was so not cool, kind of odd, an odd dude. So I didn't get a chance to watch all of this, but I need to go back to see if he says anything else. But I love hearing it now, 35 years removed, of hearing him looking back on the role, how he approached it, and over the years, hearing the way he is, he really created that character in a very unique way, which I've always enjoyed, and I know is not everybody's favorite, but I've always really liked it. I'm a Michael Keaton fan, and I love hearing him reflect on his time in the cowl.
I do too. It's not just how he talks about it, but it's just his demeanor, just the way he stands, his eyes. Like he plays Bruce Wayne in a way that I don't think anybody has done ever, where it's just the silences that he have are so
Mm-hmm.
loud. And I think if you were to conjure up your Bruce Wayne, where he talks about the tragedy, and it's interesting that you mentioned that, the tragedy first, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what starts at it, and that's what it is to his core. And I love that because it's always remembering why Batman does what he does. It goes back every single time. It's that little kid in the alleyway who felt helpless and told himself, I will never be helpless again. And that he embodies that. I'm like, man, this guy understands it, and I appreciate it. And I get, like what you said, while people don't necessarily find him to be their favorite Batman, but he does a good job, because if especially since he's our hero, Batman preps, and man, Keaton preps. He understands. He did the homework. I get it. And to be that one of the torchbearers for the Batman role, I feel like we're lucky to have him.
Yeah, and I do feel like one thing that I've always enjoyed about Keaton's performance, and really do love it, is that he made a lot of strong acting decisions. He treated it like he would treat any role. It wasn't one of those, oh well, I'm going to do a Batman movie, I'm going to cash a check, I'm going to show up. He still treated it like he would treat any role that he's ever gotten, and he, like you said, he prepared, he thought about it, he applied his process like he would to any role, whether it's this or Clean and Sober or Multiplicity. Keaton is an actor's actor, and he absolutely commits no matter what he is doing, and I think that's why he's so great. And I love that for Batman it was no different. And he really dove into, well, it's Bruce Wayne doing these things, why is he doing it, and what does that mean for him now? And I like the comment about he's a little odd,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's unfair. And again, I especially in Batman 89, when you see he's a little uncomfortable in social situations, he's a little uncomfortable at the big gala. But then when he gets in the Batcave and he's looking and he's watching, he's like razor focused. I love that. I always thought that was really cool, of that dichotomy of him being like, listen, being around people and trying to play this part, he's a little uncomfortable.
Or
But
even
when
in the
he's in his
courthouse,
element,
where he's completely calm. Like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
chaos happening around him, and I guarantee you his heart rate is at just 85. He's searching, looking around for like he is just, and he embodies that, and I love that.
yeah. Absolutely. So I love hearing him talk about it. For anybody who's interested, it is on YouTube. It just says Michael Keaton breaks down his most iconic characters. And so, yeah, if you want to hear more of what Keaton had to say about playing Batman, you can go check that out. But I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, I
I love
gotta.
that Keaton is very much having that late in career
Yeah,
resurgence.
I
And I
got
hate to
his
say late in the
Flash
career,
Batman action figure right here next to me. I'm like,
right?
yeah, this
Right.
guy, I love
Yeah.
this guy.
And I hate to say late in the career, but he is 70 or he's 71 now, I think. So he's in his 70s. But I just love that he's enjoying this new renaissance
Oh, he's
in
sad.
his 70s, which is pretty awesome.
We need one more, and I know some people, especially some of your co-hosts, that are incorrect. I love Batman Beyond. I want him one more time, but I want him as the cranky old man, like
Yeah.
helping out Terry. Like it's just, and again, I don't partake in the internet and meme stuff where it's like Warner Brothers is messing up for not having Michael Keaton do a Batman Beyond movie. I'm like, I don't like it's. I would he like what you said. He's professional. He'd probably want to see a really good script, and I think he could deliver it if it was the right people. But for my own, you know, just being a fan, I would love to see it one last time. Even though he came back one more time and he did an amazing job, just please one more time.
I I know, I know. I keep trying to remind myself, like, listen, The Flash was a gift.
Yeah,
It's something we never thought we would get, and I'm amazed that we got it. But you're
yeah.
right. Most people seem to agree that a Batman Beyond starring Michael Keaton is money in the bank,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Elseworlds. It's even
Yeah.
coming back in the comics this year.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and Gunn, I think, talked about it as well for the films. They have their DCU proper, DC Elseworlds. I mean, you could do it. It's there.
Yep.
Me and Andy will write it.
Happy to help. So we don't know. It would be nice. I would love it. Something else that may or may not be coming our way is a Teen Titans movie. So recently, in the past couple weeks, we learned that Anna Nogueira, who wrote Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, is also now writing a Teen Titans movie, which has been a lot of fun. I've actually really enjoyed seeing people come up with their rosters for a Teen Titans movie. I think it's been a lot of fun to see that. I'm excited about the possibility, but they just announced that she's writing it. Who knows how far she has gotten? But that doesn't stop the internet from spreading rumors about what the movie could be. And this is a rumor, so with any internet rumors, let's take this with a grain of salt, but it's still interesting to think about. This came from Production Weekly, and according to this particular publication, and honestly, I've never heard of Production Weekly. Have you?
No.
Okay, all right. So don't know how much I can or cannot trust them, but as is now the way I live my life, I pretty much don't trust anything I read online unless, it's from something truly legit.
Like a
But
Batman fan does.
right. But this film, apparently, according to them, they are looking to start production in late 2025, and they shared a plot synopsis. Again, maybe Anna Nogueira had already been working on it for a month before they announced it, or this is just made up. I don't know. But here's what it says. It's food for thought, even if it doesn't pan out. It says the Teen Titans are further apart than ever before until Damian Wayne recruits Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and the new Kid Flash to join him in a fight against his own grandfather, Ra's al Ghul. So, of course, grain of salt. When we talked about this in the past, the question did come up, and I think it is very valid, is that this could be another showcase for Damian, since we know Damian will be featured in The Brave and the Bold. And then if it is a Damian-centric Titans, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and Kid Flash feels like a pretty good rounded out team. Actually, I got to say, I think it was on the last episode when we talked about our Teen Titan rosters. None of us said Kid Flash. And Joe Fornerado was very mad at us for not saying Kid Flash. So
Yeah, KF is a staple. And the only other one that I was yelling at everyone was, we all loved Blue Beetle. You could easily substitute Jaime Reyes for Cyborg, because you mentioned his graduation into the Justice League. I think Jaime could be slotted in really easily into that role, especially since, Gunn, liked the movie. It is interesting, however, because I know that people think that Damian Wayne is kind of odd or out of the left field for him to be involved with Teen Titans, but in the last 5 years he has been on that team. He's led those teams. However, not specifically with the OG Teen Titans that Dick Grayson was leading. He had a whole other group of teens, and it made a little bit more sense because they viewed Damian as the veteran. Like, oh, we can follow him because this is Batman's right hand, and I think a few of them do know that this is Batman's son himself, so he has credibility. And I think, did you mention this where you don't like when the Titans are not together to start off with? And I think about that every time, and you're right. Why do we keep doing that?
That was my frustration with the TV show, and I think that Jamie shared that with me.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's a Titans show. You have an amazing cast, amazing costumes, and great characterizations, and you constantly keep them apart. Why are you doing
Is it a
this?
budgeting thing? Do they tell the writers, all right, look, we can't have them all, on set or on the same day sometimes, so we need you to find, ways for them not to always be around it. Is this something else? Is this an outside force?
I don't
Because
know. I don't know.
I don't like this. It's called Titans. It should be together.
They should be working together. Absolutely. For this, it bothers me less that like if that's where the show start, or excuse me, the movie starts, is it sounds like they had a history of being the Titans and they had since broken up, and this is them getting back together. I don't hate that if it doesn't take too long. If 2/3 of the movie
Yeah.
is getting them back together, I'm going to be very annoyed.
You got to do the 80s, 90s montage of getting the band back together.
Right,
When
right.
Damien pulls up to the skate park and there's KF. And like, hey, man, I need you for one last thing. Okay, here I go. Goes up to
Right.
the fish tank and there's Garth. And he's like, hey, I need your help too. But it's just to do it the first time, especially since this is going to be the generation of kids and teenagers that have grown up with Teen Titans Go and other Titans versions, Young Justice. Do you really want to do it like this?
Yeah, I know. And again, it's just rumor, who knows? But I agree. I don't think the roster is bad. I don't even blame them for having Damien. To your point, he has been part of the Titans for a few years now in the comics. He even was he was joining the Titans in the Super Sons movie, which
Yeah, I love it.
was a great movie, by the way.
I met that writer. He's amazing.
Yeah, that was so good.
Amy Adams.
So, and I want to say even in it might have been one of the animated movies he was part of the Titans, or
Yeah,
maybe
he was in the Teen Titans Judas Contract stuff,
yeah.
the universe prior to this one. And again, you know who was on that team? It was Jaime, it was Wonder Girl, it was Raven, it was Starfire. That team right there, that's the basis of what I think this film is going off of. Because they're a little bit, they skew a little older, but they still have history. So there still allows the probability to have, Dick Grayson, you can do Barbara, Vic can come in and be like, yeah, I mean, when I was part of this team, this is how we used to do it, and there could be some disagreement within the group on how to lead a team of teenagers.
Right. No, and I do appreciate that. Like, if there is history here, and if we know that, and Gunn has been pretty clear, is this is not, we're jumping into a lived-in world, right?
Yes,
We're jumping into a
yes.
Superman movie where Guy Gardner exists, right? So
Oh, can't wait for the bowl cut.
I appreciate that the Teen Titans, like, yes, have already existed, and now this is getting them back together. Because you're right, if Damian is bringing them back together, that doesn't mean he can't go seek out advice from Nightwing.
Yeah.
Right? Nightwing can still be out there, and I think that's exciting. So I'm good with that. I got to say, to defend myself just a tiny bit, when the news broke of the script, I did say this is where they could bring in Blue Beetle.
Oh, okay.
But last week, when we were asked for our rosters, you're right, we all forgot to mention him at that point. But when they first announced the script, I think it was me and Jamie talking, I was like, we know we'll see Blue Beetle again. You could bring him into this, and it would make a lot of sense. Yeah.
And they've done it. There's, like I said, the whole map of it is in those animated movies that are no longer on HBO Max.
Exactly. And we already have an amazing Blue Beetle, and I think that would make a lot of sense. So I'm glad that you reminded me of that, because I'm all for that. I think that would be great. And I've been playing, I don't know if you played the DC Heroes and Villains phone game.
I stay away from those games because once they get
they're
me,
evil.
they will suck me in. Yeah.
Yeah. And it has sucked me in. But the way I look at it is
do something at work.
It's better than doom scrolling. So I've been playing that.
We all have our wonderful waste of times. I'm looking at a stack of comics I got to get to. So
anyway, my point is this, is like in it, when you choose your team, you get bonuses if they come from the same team. And I'm just saying is if I've got Blue Beetle and Robin together, they both get a bonus because they're part of Teen Titans.
They get it. Whoever's writing those games should help write the movie.
I don't know, but they do a really good job. This is not an advertisement for that game, but I really like it. I love the design.
Like to advertise with us, please.
I love the designs. Everybody looks amazing. Like, all the characters look great, and it's fun. And so yeah, it's a fun little diversion again that keeps me from reverting back to Twitter or anything. So point is yes, Blue Beetle's affiliation in that game is also Titans.
Love it.
So as for this synopsis, I like the idea of Ra's al Ghul being the villain, especially if this is going to be a Damian Wayne centric story. I'm cool with that too. So I don't hate this. I just don't know how much I can believe it.
I think also connecting the dots for the normies to help learn Damien's lineage, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously, his parents, Batman and Talia, would be a great opportunity for them to learn Ra's al Ghul and his role in young Damien's life. You could do flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
It also would be a perfect opportunity for Jamie to get his guy, Lawrence Fishburne, play Ra's al Ghul. And I
how,
want
how about new, Ricky?
I'm just trying to help him out because he said it, and I go, that would be actually pretty awesome.
I mean, I think it would have been
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help him out. But no,
but yeah.
I want the connective tissue. Again, the lived-in universe. Connect
Yeah.
those dots. Here's Damien. This is his mom. These are his grandparents, and this is what he learned. This is why he stopped killing. This is why he's a
Yeah.
vegan. There's a lot. There, like, as much as I like to shit on him because he is a little punk sometimes. Damien's layered. There's a lot. He likes manga. Like he likes anime. He's a layered kid. He's a good-hearted kid, but he just has a difficulty expressing it, showing it, and also being around metahumans around his age. It'll help his growth, and you could do a
Yeah.
really good job as far as the universe goes.
Right. Well, and if my memory serves, is I feel like that was a lot of the dynamic of when he joined the Teen Titans in the comics. Is
Yep.
he means well, but he steps out of line, and so he becomes better, having been on a team with these good kids, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
and they help his growth.
Yeah, there's only so much assassins, you're the world's greatest detective, and Alfred can teach you.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got to be well rounded.
For sure. Well, it's a great point, and I really hope this movie happens. And again, even if this is not the story I would write, I don't dislike it if it pans out.
Yeah,
And I think
good
that's again,
villains.
I think that's a pretty good roster of, you know, having Damien as the Robin, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, you have to have, and then Kid Flash instead of a cyborg. I'm like, yeah, I get all that. It's a nice balance. I'm into that.
I'd want Donna Troy too. I like when the Titans have more females than males.
Agreed. I feel like it should always be a 50-50 split, but if you're doing 5, at least, having 2 females is good, but you're right. If you're going to get 6, get Donna Troy in there.
Yeah, and then the black and silver outfits, because I want to see that in film. I think it'll look awesome.
Sweet. Again, Anna Nagara is writing this now, and apparently James Gunn and company were happy with the script she wrote for Supergirl. Because Supergirl seems to be moving forward, there is now talk of a director.
Alrighty.
Now, this comes from Deadline, and Deadline I do know, and Deadline is one of those sources I put a little more weight behind because they tend to be they tend to check their info before they publish it. And according to Deadline, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is moving forward, and there is talks happening with Craig Gillespie to direct. And Craig Gillespie, he directed I, Tonya. He directed Cruella. And he also directed the sadly underrated Fright Night remake that I'm a big fan of.
Right.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I'm not a horror person. I apologize. When you guys get into that, I'm like, I can't follow you down that.
That's
rabbit
okay.
hole, sorry.
That's okay. It's fine. It doesn't have to be for everybody. The Fright Night original, I freaking love. And Fright Night, the remake, is somehow just as good. So for anybody out there listening, if you missed the Fright Night remake, this is my heavy recommendation to check it out. Colin Farrell is the main bad guy.
Okay.
You already like him. He's the Penguin, and he is really good in it too. So anyway, all that is to say, we may have a director for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And how do you feel about that?
Have you read that book?
I have not yet. It's still on my to-do list.
And say what you will about Tom King, he nailed this thing.
Okay. That's what I've heard.
It is. I remember coming out weekly or monthly, and it's just, I was so surprised because it's a great story, and the art is just beautiful. It's one of those pages where every piece of art could be a poster, and I love that about certain comics. And it's short. It's only like 8 or 9 issues. I honestly can't wait because Supergirl, if we can get the success for Superman, and if it goes well, again, helping fill out Superman's world, Kara's a big part of that, and I think she has, she's had her due. She's it, it's going to be, again, just depending on how they roll this out, which movie comes after which. I think it'd be great. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
that's great. How do you feel about Craig Gillespie, or do you have any feelings on it?
I don't. I like I said, I'm not familiar with their work, so I'm happy that we're doing this. It seems like Gunn likes to do this. It's like writer, right? You get that,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and then you get your director, and then you cast your lead. And it seems to have gone this way for everything so far for the new DCU, and I appreciate that, because I know that in some universes they have the star, they get someone to write a script, and then they pick a director almost like last.
Yeah, well, this one they went script, star, director. It was a little out of order.
Oh, that's because Gunn did it. My bad, I messed up.
Yeah, Millie Alcock has been
Yeah.
cast as Supergirl,
Yeah.
but that's because we will be meeting her in Superman.
I keep forgetting that.
Yeah,
Wow, this movie has a lot.
Well, and that's why I was like, I think this will be the next one that goes into production, because we already have a Supergirl. So that says a lot, and it certainly says a lot that James Gunn wants to introduce her in Superman. That means he's ready to push forward with that character. I have no feelings on Millie Alcock. I haven't watched. I think it's House of the Dragon that she's in.
I've been meaning to watch it. It's just, it's
same. Me and Catherine keep forgetting.
When you watch
right.
When you watch dragons, violence, and sex when the kids aren't around.
Right. So yeah, we haven't watched that yet. So I have no opinions on her as an actor, other than, you know what? Like, sometimes someone I'm not familiar with can be a great surprise. I will publicly admit, when they announced Henry Cavill, I was like, who? I don't know who that is. And he was great. So it doesn't matter whether I know them or not. But the point is they had cast her, and Craig Gillespie, I think he is a good, solid choice. He's not like one of my favorite directors. He's not someone I've been like, get Craig Gillespie. So I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to
get him on the phone.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to be a Craig Gillespie super fan, because I'm not. But I loved Fright Night. I loved I, Tonya. I thought I, Tonya was great as well. I didn't watch Cruella because I've tapped out of the Disney live action remakes.
You know what? I have watched that because my daughters really loved it, and so did my wife. And it actually is shot really well.
All right.
Yeah, they've got great transition shots. There's the way he scores, does the music. Actually, you know what? I am familiar with this person's work.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
and it's funny, bad. even people I know were like, "Oh, Cruella was pretty good," but
yeah, it's solid.
I just haven't been motivated to actually push play on it. So, but what I like is, like, looking at especially I, Tonya, Cruella, he is able to work with strong female leads.
Good point.
And that, I think, is and get really good performances out of them. I think, was Margot Robbie nominated for I, Tonya? Or maybe it was I think it was just Oscar buzz. I can't remember. But anyway, the point is she was great in it. And so he can obviously work with strong female leads and push them out front and tell their stories, which I think is a really good thing for Supergirl. So I think it's a very unexpected but inspired choice. And I hope it pans out. I hope he signs and we've got our director and they can move forward.
DC has had success with hiring people that come from horror to superheroes, right?
Yeah,
as far as
absolutely.
Like Juan, Sandberg, so
right.
Keep jumping in that toolbox. It's working.
And according to this report, it does say that they think the movie will go in production before the end of the year.
Wow. Okay.
So this could really, like, if he takes the job, things could ramp up very quickly for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
If they go the comic book route, it is a space odyssey. So it will be interesting how they actually plan to do that, because we've never really done a film like this.
Yeah, that is what I've gleaned from what I've looked at from Woman of Tomorrow, is it's not on Earth.
No, and there's a lot of heavy-handed inner monologue also as well. So I obviously can't do all of it. You could do some of it. So it'll be interesting. What'll happen after the events of Superman?
Yeah,
I could see her, being sent to go do something else after the movie's done, and that's why you don't see Kal. Because if you're gonna have Kara in Kal's movie, but not Kal-El in Kara's movie, this is how you would do that. Because she literally wouldn't be in the galaxy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I really hope this means that things are really starting to ramp up because that's exciting.
Yeah, good stuff.
Something all else that's ramping up right now is promotion for Joker Folie à Deux.
Oh yeah.
Coming our way in October, and so they are just starting to really get into promotion. They released the first poster, and we will be getting the trailer next week. So the Joker, it is Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, dipping Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn with this vibrant, green background with shafts of light coming. And it says Joker Folie à Deux, the world is a stage, 10/4/24.
Ooh, I like that.
So how you feeling about Joker Folie à Deux?
This is the film that I haven't any clue what's going to happen, and that's okay. I'm excited. The first one obviously, told a very dark story, and I'm curious as to if they're going to pivot from that, because
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to introduce Harley, their normal story of mad love, is a love story. This could turn into that. And I don't know if you saw, did you see Gaga's face in the poster?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that Heath Ledger type scarring. And so I did she start with that, or did she do this to herself? The film itself is, like I said, it is just a literal just a surprise box waiting to happen, and I'm kind of excited to get into it.
Yeah, the scarring is far more subtle than Heath Ledger's. I'm zooming in as we're
Yeah, yeah,
talking.
yeah.
But you're right. It is there. I like the black eye makeup on the eyes as well.
Mhm.
But you're right. It is it is such an interesting question mark of a movie. And what I find myself doing is using the same word I kept using for the first film is intrigued. I
Yeah.
am intrigued. I'm not excited. I'm not counting down the days, but I am intrigued as to what this will be. I think the poster is beautiful. It's striking. It tells you what you need to know. And I really love the poster. I'm excited about the trailer because the trailer is going to finally, I think, give us at least what to expect tonally from this film because of all the different things we've heard over the past year or two about production. It is a fascinating amalgam of styles and elements that I think could be really fun and unique.
I'm not also familiar with Gaga's acting. I didn't ever watch A Star Is Born. So if this is going to be musical and they're going to allow her to show her talents, I kind of want to go and watch that movie just so I can
Mhm.
kind of get a glimpse of how she is, and just how she behaves, because they chose her, right? Like, did she not have to audition for this? Is this just something that they dropped
I'm
her in?
sure.
Okay.
I think that from the moment the murmurs happened about a Joker 2, everybody said Lady Gaga has to be Harley.
Wow.
So I am sure that they went, please be our Harley.
The
And
internet made something happen for once.
yeah, and something good because honestly, anyone else would have been a little bit of a letdown once that idea was out in the world.
Well, yeah, they can cut the $8 million check, whatever they paid her.
Right. Well, but that's just it. Is and everybody is being compensated handsomely for doing it.
Yes.
But she's amazing. A Star Is Born is very good, and she is great in it.
Okay.
And I think I have no concerns about either of their performances in this film. So I think that she is the perfect choice for this, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to expect. Is this going to be a Bonnie and Clyde thriller musical? Is this going to be? You know what? It's just, it could be anything, and I think that's why I say I'm excited. But like what you said, intrigued is probably more the appropriate word.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, but I appreciate that it is different and something that's wholly unique. And I think that will reward them at the box office.
You think it's going to cross a billion?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't play this
I'm still
fantasy
shocked. I'm
box
still
office
shocked the
anymore?
first one did. Oh no, we do. We
Okay.
do. Oh,
I would love to know Jamie's guess and
yeah.
Brendan's. We're gonna write this one
You
down.
know
When
what?
they come back, ask them, and then we'll keep a track.
My hunch, and this is going to come back to haunt me. I
Hopefully,
don't think it will be as huge as the first. I don't.
yeah, sequels rarely are, but
Uh, even with the added value of Lady Gaga, I think the first was it took all of us by surprise as how well it did and what a huge thing it was. But I think it will come pretty close.
Ironic that the
I'd be
movie I
shocked if it
didn't
crossed a
go
billion.
multiple times crossed $1 billion.
Yeah.
Every other DC movie I go 3 times, and the one I go once crosses $1 billion.
I know, right? So we shall see, but it has officially been rated R, just like the first one.
Of course.
And yeah, it'll be interesting. All right.
Do we see Pattinson in that one? Will you see Pattinson in The Penguin or in The Joker 2? Take your bets.
Well, I mean, wouldn't Bruce still be a little kid? Wasn't he a little kid in the first one?
I don't know. They could Gotham this thing for all I know.
It's true. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that develops, but it is coming our way in October. And what is coming our way next year that we all know about that is heavily in production is Superman. And every other day, there are more rumors about Superman. And James Gunn is busy making Superman, but he will occasionally pop in to try and squash rumors as needed. Speaking of, this is not about Superman, but he even, like last week, there was rumors that Harvey Dent had been cast in the Batman Part 2. Did you see this?
No.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, we're going to kick the movie down the road. Also, we're doing casting.
Exactly. So I didn't give it any real weight because I was like, they just delayed it another year. Are they really doing casting right now? They're saying Matt Reeves needs another year to finish the script. Is he doing casting sessions? I don't think so. So I didn't put a lot of weight in it, but James Gunn immediately was like, no, that's not true. That's fake.
although I could see him showing up in The Penguin.
Harvey Dent?
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah.
Because if you're listening to rumors and maybe you just misheard the second part, if you're doing a crime-centric storytelling, it makes sense to have a DA.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So, well, you know what? Touche. That's possible. But again, James Gunn shot down that particular rumor. So, a new rumor came out that about potential other villain being in Superman. And James Gunn sent this out, and I believe it was on Threads. He says, the primary protagonist of Superman is shockingly Superman. The main villain of Superman is shockingly Lex Luthor. I don't know where all this stuff is coming from, that it's something other than this. There are so many stories coming out every day, it's difficult to deal with, and every time I strike something down, I'm giving it attention. So I'll say again, don't believe anything unless you see it here. And why would you want to know everything before the movie comes out anyway?
That part.
Heart. He ends with a heart. Oh, and the little and the little merman. I forgot about the merman. I love this so much. I love it. Oh, it's so
I know
good.
that in a lot of social media platforms we've craved for like a sarcasm font, but James Gunn just does it in a normal way. He's a master.
It's so good. I know we all want to know. We're geeks. We're excited. We want to know. But I just love that he's like, the protagonist is Superman. The bad guy is Lex Luthor. You already know this. Just don't believe anything until I say.
I know what this is. This is just the internet wanting it to be anybody else other than Lex. We've had Lex, multiple times. Everybody, I get it. Like I get why the internet wants Brainiac, or if they want Zod again, or it's just I understand, but we're universe building and filling, and we got some good people portraying these characters.
Yeah, amazing people.
We got a freaking great Lex. We got a great super. I can't wait to see them stand there and have like the dialogue that I know that can be delivered, and it's just I get it. We're excited, and this is the only DC movie happening in the next year other than Joker. They're bored.
I know. What I mean, this is also the nature of our geek internet culture is, in the absence of real news, we make up news because people got to get traffic.
Guys, you got to do what Andy does. Just play the DC card game on your phone while we wait. I promise
See,
you, it'll go
play
by.
DC heroes and villains who do not sponsor the show,
Do
but
not sponsor this show.
they do not sponsor the show. I would love for them to. Please
Yeah.
sponsor it. If you could send me some tokens so I can upgrade my characters quicker, that'd be great. But
Use code Andy. Thank you.
but yeah, again, we're so hungry for info, and when there is no info, people make up info and people run with it because it's something to talk about.
I'm ready to be teased. I don't mind it. He brings up a good point. It's just like, guys, like, it's all right. Be patient. It'll come.
Right?
It'll get here. All right.
Remember when?
Yeah. Appreciate the lingerie. Okay.
I love that.
All right.
That's so
We'll get
funny.
there. I am excited, and you talked about this before. I love when a big movie comes out because I know I'm excited when I can't wait to get my hands on merch.
Exactly.
T-shirts,
Yep.
action figures, and it's Superman has not had this in a long time. As I've gotten older and become a father, Superman has been a much bigger character for me. So this has to go well. I'm not saying I'm gonna ride or die with this, that this movie has to be cross $1 billion. I just want it to be, fun. I want it to be that. And
Yeah. Yeah.
people, do people not think that having Lex as a main villain a bad idea? Is that something people are afraid of, or they're just
I
bored
mean,
of?
I know that fans, and myself included, I'm putting myself in there. We have been asking for years and years of being like, give us Brainiac. How is it that we've had this many Superman movies and no Brainiac? And I think that's totally fair. Again, because I've said it myself, but also Lex is the big bad, and it will be very interesting to see how that plays out in the movie. And Lex is not a bad thing. I've always felt like even if Lex isn't the big bad, he should still be present. I feel like you need Lex for a Superman story. And so it's not that big a deal. But yeah, I know that we were all hoping for something like brand new. And that is not to say we're not getting something brand new. We don't know yet. All he's saying is Lex is the main bad guy. As for what Lex is up to and what obstacles he throws in Superman's way, we don't know.
I
And
would
that's
love to
kind
see
of fun.
I'd love to see like a Lex Luthor puppet master where he's got other stuff happening. Smoke bombs over here, smoke screen. He throws Metallo at Superman. He throws You know what I mean? Like there are
Yeah, yeah.
we haven't had. Correct me if I'm wrong. We haven't had Lex in the classic power suit.
Okay,
Right?
I was going to ask you
Yeah.
that.
No,
Do we get Lex in the power suit?
I
I'm all
yes,
for it. I'm all
yes.
for it.
Because even in certain cartoons, like in the Justice League, when Lex has his power suit, he can take on the Justice League.
Yeah.
Is this why we have Hawk Girl, Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, Supergirl? Is because he's creating not just a super suit for him, but like an army of it? Why do you need all these heroes for just Lex?
This is a great point. So I feel like Super Suit, I think, is on the table, and God, I hope it is. And I know, again, I know not all fans love the Super Suit. I think
love
some fans think it's a little cheesy. I love it. I think it's awesome.
Give me the cheese.
I'm still mad that BVS teased us with that toy and then didn't do it. But yeah, give me Super Suit Lex. But I also think that just because Lex Luthor is the main villain, that doesn't mean Brainiac isn't around.
Yeah, and to
Brainiac
me,
Brainiac is a computer.
Crisis. Yeah.
Brainiac could be a voice on a computer for this movie.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't, saying Lex is the main villain does not exclude other possibilities because there's other things happening, and let's wait and see. But like you said, I'm so excited for it, and I will be doing what I did for Man of Steel of I'm going to pause my Batman life for a couple months and be buying nothing but Superman crap.
Yeah,
I did it for Man of Steel in 2013. I'm going to do it again. I'm excited.
Do you think we'll get anything at San Diego?
Ooh, that's a good point. It's coming up in July.
Geek calendar. Yeah, I'm looking up the Geek calendar.
Yeah.
We got
yes,
this.
yes, I do. I think we will.
Okay.
I don't know what, but I'm sure. Here's my hunch. We will get the suit reveal.
Oh yes, that's what I was wanting.
Before July.
To preface.
And then the suit will be on display at Comic-Con.
Okay.
This is my hunch. Someone said that James Gunn said that the suit reveal is coming soon, but I didn't see where that actually came from. So I don't know. But It feels inevitable,
Oh yes.
right? Anyway, I loved the I loved this tweet, this thread. I was very amused. I was like, God bless him. You know, he's out there trying to make his movie.
I guess I got to get on Threads because when you mentioned this to me, I go, I don't see this on his Twitter.
He rarely goes on Twitter X
Yeah.
anymore. Just like same for me.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're out there sending me stuff on Twitter, I don't see what I used to because I go on it maybe once a week, and that's usually to post a new episode. But I don't really go on Threads either. Again, I'm playing I'm playing the DC game. It's better for me.
Friend him on DC Heroes and Villains, and
Yeah, right. But yeah,
app.
like James Gunn is much heavier on Threads now than he is on X.
Fine, I'll download it.
It's here's the thing. I was ready to go all in on Threads, but they hadn't worked out all like the kinks yet.
Yeah, version
And
2.87, whatever.
yeah, and so when I went on, I was like, oh, it's kind of clunky. And right now they won't let me have two accounts. They won't let me have my account and a Holy BatCast account. So I had to pick one or the other, and I just did mine because it came from Instagram. So I was like, now if you could let me switch between accounts like Twitter does, like I could start doing BatCast on Threads, and it's just hard to rebuild from nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, more on Superman as it develops. I do think that we will get that suit sooner than later, and that will be fun. And you're right. I do think we'll get a little something at Comic-Con. I've heard nothing about Comic-Con, whether WB is going to be doing their big presentation or not. But if they are,
they have stuff to show.
They have
things in the works. Which, man, I really miss DC fandom because like I could always.
I know
those 2-3 years of just, oh man, in October we're gonna get just all of this, and it was just for us. I loved it.
Yep, I know. I do miss it too.
When I'm in charge of DC, I'm bringing that back.
All right, so we're getting Batman Beyond.
Yep.
We're getting evolution of Batman in the Penguin series, and we're getting fandom. See, Ricky, you got my vote.
Yeah, thank you.
I like
and
all
we're
these
getting and we're getting the Nightwing film before all that.
Thank you. A Nightwing film, and we're getting the Lex in the power suit.
All I need to do is win that $1 billion Powerball, and I will rip it from Warner Brothers.
Don't we all? Yeah. Awesome. Well, there you go. I think that's all the news I had. Is there anything I missed? I think it was surprisingly more than I thought. At first, I was like, oh, I don't know if we have enough news to do that this week. And then you start digging and you find stuff.
Oh, yeah. Enough to fill an hour.
Well, it's what we do here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, something else we've been doing is we've been back on the Batman animated train for a few episodes now. We've been keeping up with it, and I feel really good and productive. So we're going to do it again. We're going to review the next episode of The Batman. Last time we celebrated Halloween with Solomon Grundy. And so we're on to Season 2, Episode 12, Strange Minds. So this aired on September 3rd of 2005. It was written by Greg Weisman, and it was directed by Brandon Vietti.
He did Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, he sure did. So, Detective Yin is back. She's been MIA for a little while now, for a few episodes. But she is back, and the Joker tricks her into calling him with a pizza coupon. It's the same way you'd trick me. Offer me free pizza. I'll get into that van.
With a free soda.
Yeah, with a free soda. I mean, come on. If it's a cherry Coke, I'll do anything you ask. So the Joker captures Detective Yin, and they cannot figure out where she is, and they do manage to capture the Joker, but he ain't talking. So we've got Hugo Strange, and I believe we met Hugo Strange briefly in a previous episode.
I think you saw him. I don't think he spoke.
Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, no. So, okay, wait. I'm going back. He was in Meltdown.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we had met him before. I think that was the first time we met him was in Meltdown. Now he is back.
Yeah.
He is in charge of Arkham Asylum,
He
and
got
he's like,
promoted.
he did. We always we always promote the shady ones. And he's like, listen, Joker's never going to talk, but fortunately, I have this new thing where it can zap me into the Joker's brain, and I can look for answers in there. Can't imagine that going badly.
Mm-mm.
And Batman is like, okay, cool, I'm going home. And fortunately, he also has something that's going to zap him into the Joker's brain along with Hugo Strange. There's
I
some
think
there's some
he
science gobbledygook about it.
well,
Of
he
like,
says right that conversation he had with Bruce. He goes, "Oh yeah, thank you for the money you did and so for us to create that new prototype." And Bruce
oh,
is
that's
like,
right,
and
right,
Bruce
right.
goes, "What?" And he literally goes, "What are you talking about?" And then I thought it was just a throwaway line, but then when we get back to the cave, he goes, "Yeah, I took the blueprints and the schematics off the Wayne Industries server and I built it right here." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's what it was."
Oh, all right, nice. I missed that. I must have been too busy eating my cereal, so thank you.
You go, great.
Uh, but it was, yeah. So anyway, they're able to basically get onto the same frequency as Hugo Strange and zap Batman into the Joker's brain along with Hugo Strange. So Hugo Strange doesn't seem all that interested in finding out where Yin is. He's a little more focused on just being like, I want to see why the Joker's crazy. This is fun. And Batman's trying to figure out where Yin is. And so it's this journey through the Joker's brain of craziness. I will say they definitely take advantage of the animated form
Mm-hmm.
because they're able to just do lots of insane stuff in animation that would be very hard or expensive to do in live action, being inside the Joker's brain. And so they journey through. Batman is like, I'm not learning anything. I'm not getting anything from him. Hugo Strange does a little bit of psychoanalyzing Batman because Batman can't let go and he has this need to rescue people. But eventually, what happens is Batman is like, well, forget it. And he pretends to pull out of the brain, and they're back at Arkham. And Joker's like, what happened? And Yin shows up, and they're like, see, you told us. He goes, I didn't tell you. And they're like, no, you did. You didn't mean to, but you told us about the opera. And he goes, oh, so you found her under the stage. And they're like, great. And they're still in the brain, the hallucination. They're in Batman's brain. Oh yeah, Batman flips it on Joker. It goes from
This is one of the greatest reveals I've ever seen. Where each person takes their head off and it's a cowl underneath, and they
yeah,
don't do
everyone
it one
rips the
time.
face off.
They don't
And
do
they're
it
all,
2 times. They do it 4 times.
yeah, everyone's Batman. And it turns out we're now in Batman's brain. So we were in Joker's brain. Now we're in Batman's brain. So we get a little glimpse into that. So we learn just enough to save Yin, who is kind of dressed like Harley Quinn
Yeah, I
under
was
the
gonna say.
stage, which is a nice little nod. Batman saves her just in time.
Ooh,
And
just
And Hugo Strange is like, all right, great. Got to go on a ride into the Joker's brain, and that's going to get me ready to go into Batman's brain. And that's where it ends. And that is Strange Minds. I kept wanting to say Strange Days. Remember that movie way back in the 90s? I never
no.
actually.
I don't think
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Strange Days. It was Ray Fiennes.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, for some reason, that's what it reminded me of. But yeah, Ricky, what did you think of Strange Minds?
You know, Christopher Nolan owes Weissman and Vietti some money because this is Inception essentially.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
It's that mixed with like the Matrix mixed with man, you know what, I like this episode. It had some fun play with, like you said, the animation. I enjoyed all the little gags, all the little visual gags from the Joker. Like, I got some screws loose, and of course, giant screws come falling down. I'm surprised that he didn't go, oh man, I lost my marbles, and Batman gets attacked by giant marbles. I'm surprised we didn't see that. But I found it fun. It was different than the past episodes. This is they went a little wacky, but also grounded, and it had my favorite type of pseudoscience where they kind of just give you a little bit of science and then just expect you to walk with them the rest of the way. I liked it.
All right, good. I thought it was pretty cool. It was definitely creative.
Yeah, creative.
And different. I'm not as into the like travel through the brain as I would be in just a more traditional adventure, but I appreciate them doing something different. I think it was I really liked the switcheroo of going from the Joker's
Yes.
brain into Batman's brain. I thought that was very
That was the throwaway line. It was Strange saying this device is a two-way transmission radio.
Right.
That was
yes.
the key there.
Yep. And yeah, because Batman even says, he says it's a two-way street or something. And then he manages to do it. So I liked that reveal, and I liked how they managed to get the info out of the Joker. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good, even if it wasn't like my favorite. I thought it was interesting, and I liked that. I think they found a very nice way to have a Joker story that was also a Hugo Strange story.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned it the first time he showed up as Hugo Strange. The voice is Frank Gorshin, which I love.
Hugo Strange?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You would never know it to hear it.
You can't hear it. Yeah, he talks in like that lower, slower register.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had forgotten, and as I'm watching it, I was like, wait, who does his voice again? I knew it was someone I liked. And so I had to wait for the credits, and I was like, oh yeah, duh, Frank Gorshin. But
that's great because the mayor was Adam West. They were bringing in some 66 people. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I love that too. So yeah, it was all right. It was, I think, pretty good. Even again, it's not my favorite, but pretty good.
We're almost to the end with this.
I didn't realize that till you said it, but yeah, we are only now one episode away from finishing season 2.
Yeah. You're welcome, Brendan.
Look at that. See, we doing this for Brendan, and he dips out of most of these.
Well, I thought he would love this one, especially since that opening shot was of the Sydney Opera House.
See? Awesome. All right. So what about a letter grade for this one?
I'm going to go with A because it has my favorite Disney princess in it.
Oh, is Mulan your favorite?
Yeah, she's my favorite.
Awesome. Yeah, do you know what's funny is I remembered watching the show, and at the very beginning, there was so much time spent with Yin and Bennett.
Yeah.
And as the show goes on, it's just, they start to realize that like Yin and Bennett isn't where it's at.
Well, I know what they were going for. They were trying to do what BTAS did with Bullock and Renee Montoya.
Yeah. That's true.
And with the hope that, they graduate to something, bigger. Because I don't know. As far as Yin as a character, I think she would do well in the comics, like GCPD, just helping Batman and Gordon. Wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
She's a good cop.
I know. Well, that's the thing is, it's not that I don't even like Yin. I like her a lot, and to your point, I love Ming-Na Wen. I think she's amazing. So there's a lot to like. But yeah, it's funny because as the show continues, they start just disappearing more and more. And then when she popped up at the beginning of this, I was like, oh yeah, Yin. It's been a minute.
Her line reading of 30 seconds. Don't you mean 30 minutes? And just
yeah. So I'm gonna go with a B+. I think it's a good solid episode.
Yeah, fair.
Awesome.
Are we tallying these or for each season or no?
No.
Is that Brendan's job? Oh, okay.
It's probably. I'm certainly not paying attention. So
gotcha.
Just is what it is. But there you go, an A and a B+ for Strange Minds.
One
more for the season finale of season 2. Ooh, and it's exciting. Joker, Riddler, Penguin, Punch and Judy, and the Kabuki twins. It's going to be just a rogues gallery in there.
It'll be like Batman 66 movie.
Almost. I'm very mad that Catwoman is not listed here.
How many? Was she only like in 2 episodes this season?
I think. But like one of my favorite ones was Penguin and Catwoman one.
I actually really enjoyed the Spellbinder one.
Oh,
not
okay.
Spellbinder one. The one with her and Ragdoll.
Oh, me too.
That one I liked a lot. I was playing catch up and I watched them all. I will say there is a flow to it when you watch them back to back to back. Mm-hmm. They do flow pretty well together.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is Night and the City, and it is the final episode of season 2, and we're going to get lots of bad guys, and that sounds fun. I'm looking forward to that.
I am ready for the sidekicks because they put those. Speaking of Netflix, that's the poster or the little thumbnail for the Batman.
Yeah, they are coming. It just takes a minute.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there you go. That's the next episode of The Batman. But now is when we check in with you, fine feathered finks, and crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It is time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren, what is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
All right. First email here is from Jacob, and it says, "Hey guys, I was scrolling through your YouTube channel and I watched some old videos. I know you're super busy with boring non-Batman real world stuff, but I was wondering if you would ever think about making different videos like you used to, like trailer reactions, toy unboxings, reviews, etc. I think it'd be cool seeing you guys react to the latest trailers. If there's not time, I completely understand. Anyways, keep up the great work. Congrats on 10 years of this amazing show. I really appreciate all the time and energy and all the energy you guys put into making it possible. I listen to the podcast pretty much daily whenever I spot DC news. I can't wait to hear what Andy, Jamie, and that cheeky little Brendan have to say about it. Sorry for the long email. Peace and bat love, Jacob." All right, Jacob. Thank you for the
That's
message.
the first time I've ever heard it unedited or unfiltered.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. It'll be edited by the time you listen again.
Oh man.
Thank you, Jacob, and
Thank you,
appreciate all the kind words. Appreciate you making Ricky laugh. And you know what? I've considered going back and adding more YouTube stuff, but I think you nailed it. It's like it takes everything to find time to keep the podcast and my other podcasts going, while also working a full-time job and raising a daughter. So I've definitely, it's crossed my mind a lot over the past year, and I keep being like, oh, maybe, but it's just, I can't dedicate the time right now, but I appreciate that you would want that. So I did post the footage of my Batman Christmas tree at Christmas on the YouTube channel. It was like the first video in like 5 years, but I did do that. Otherwise, it's just the episodes that go up there that no one listens to on YouTube, which I understand. I don't listen to anything on YouTube either. So maybe someday if I get some free time, but for now, unfortunately, this is going to have to suffice.
I am staring at so many like Batman toys and action figures, and it's just I would love to just. I'm jealous of those guys and those girls who can just plop down, sit down. Hey, let's open this up together because I love watching those. I watch a lot of those videos, and like you said, you have one kid. I have 3.
Oh man,
so
that I just can't wrap my head around because I'm like, she's enough. She's so much. How do you do 3?
Because one day they're asking you for help in the bathroom because they can't reach something. The next they're asking you questions about, Dad, I need help with my algebra and calculus homework and history, and they always need help. You never know where it's gonna come from.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I'm putting this out there. So I recently acquired a pretty amazing Batman toy.
Ooh, hit me.
That is still sitting here unopened. And we talked about it on the Batman Forever episode. It's the Batmobile that opens up and inside is like the mini Gotham City.
Yes.
So
I had this.
Yeah. So I found one of those on eBay and it was new in box. And I was like, oh, I'm doing it. And it's sitting here right next to me. And it came in such perfect condition, that like I could have just pulled it off the shelf in 1995. Like it looks brand freaking new.
I'm having flashbacks to KB Toys. This is great.
And I haven't opened it for 2 reasons. One, it's in such perfect condition. I feel guilty opening it. And I'm like, if I am going to open it, I feel like I should film it for the YouTube channel. I
will go with the latter.
And so it's just sitting here while I decide what the heck to do. But I'm like, it's immaculate. I couldn't, when I opened that box, I was like, oh my God, did you go back in time and get this for me?
Why don't we put a poll up?
Okay. So, and that's why I'm like, I need to find the time to record it and at least put that up. And I was going to do that with my Batman and Robin Frozen Gotham set. Mm-hmm. And then eventually I gave up and just didn't, and just opened it and posted the pictures. But even posting the pictures, people loved. People were like, oh my God, that's so cool. So anyway. Next email is from our pal Mike Ortego. Hey, Mike. He says, hey, wondering if you would ever consider doing an episode on your personal Batman reading order. With 85 years of comics, obviously no one expects you to do a full chronological reading, but basically do a best of Batman list in chronological order. Keeping it short and sweet is fine. I've been very curious to find out everyone's own headcanon for Batman. Also, if Warner Brothers came to you today and said, we want you to write a Batman movie trilogy, what 3 books would you base your scripts on? Anyway, thanks again for your amazing podcast. God bless Mike in Louisiana. Thanks, Mike. And always good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well in Louisiana. Hope you had a great Mardi Gras. So an episode on our chronological order. Interesting. I can put it on the list. I'm open to it. I've never considered it, but
Would
I'm
this be strictly to Detective and Batman comics and not Elseworlds? Or
I think it can be whatever it would be for you,
because there's a new one that I think when it's finished could be on this list.
Okay.
Have you heard of Batman Offworld?
No, I don't
So
think I have.
this is new. There's only like there's 2 or 3 issues out currently. And what it is Batman goes off world because he wants to study all the different types of aliens and other metas that he could run into so that he can prep for them in case he would ever have to fight them on Earth or anywhere else.
Interesting.
It is awesome and it's nuts. It's something that you have to be very crazy and stupid to think, but then you really think about it. No, of course Batman could do this. And this happens apparently early on in like his career, like year 2 or 3. It's kind of left in the open, but it would make sense. How is Batman? You asked the question. How is he so prepared to fight aliens that come to Gotham? Well, how he does it is an alien shows up, beats Batman's ass essentially. He gets left there and he goes, never again. And then he figures out what galaxy they're from, gets there, learns how to fight them, and then jumps them. It's like pettiness also as well, but
yeah,
it would make sense to be in the arsenal of Batman to go. The reason why he's the greatest hand-to-hand combatant is because he takes the time to study everything,
right,
not just humans.
How cool. Yeah. All right. Well, the idea I will put away. I guess the question is, if you're going to write a Batman trilogy, which books would you use as inspiration?
This is on film?
Yes. Like you were doing a movie trilogy of Batman, the books you would use.
I would definitely have to include Hush because you get all of the rogues.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call.
And I love those. I love how everybody looks, so the aesthetic will look really good. I'm trying to think of something else. I want to pick something that you don't never normally see.
It's hard because a lot of the most iconic ones have already been mined for material, like The Long Halloween and No Man's Land, Nightfall. A lot of those have already been used one way or the other for
even
different
like Cataclysm and stuff like that.
Yeah, Dark Knight Returns, obviously. Yeah, and anything else that I love the idea of Hush. That feels like a great call. I think that would be the final one. I've said it before. Like I want my Batman movie trilogy to also be a Robin trilogy.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a way to include all 4 Robins. I was thinking, did you ever read Batman and Robin Eternal?
Yes, I did. It was really good.
I think it's really long, but you can essentially condense those ideas into. You can condense it into a movie and a half. I'm even thinking 2, where Batman has to journey with maybe the first 2 Robins first, and then the last part of the trilogy could be also including, Todd and Damian there at the end with an older Tim Drake and Dick Grayson Nightwing.
Yeah. So I was thinking, first movie, Death in the Family.
Okay.
So you've essentially got, the death of Jason Todd. Second movie, Lonely Place of Dying, which allows you to have Nightwing and Tim Drake. And then the third movie can be Hush, where it's also kind of Bat Family versus the Rogues.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a way to also include like Batgirl and spoiler, but that'd be a 4th and 5th movie.
You can, if it's for inspiration, it doesn't have to be verbatim, so you can still find ways to incorporate them as you like.
I like the Tynion run too, because she incorporated a lot of the Bat family as well. Even with like Batwoman and Batwing, and essentially the Bat family has to fight Cat Kane's dad with the colony.
Oh yeah,
that includes everybody,
right?
Because that was an assault on Gotham.
See that? Yeah, that would also be great as like the third.
Yeah, the third movie.
Since you said Hush, then I'll say that.
Okay, good.
or vice versa.
We got a lot to do when we run DC, man.
But yeah, the point is yes, I love the idea of like using, the first film to really be a Batman and Robin story, the second film to be about a Batman and the changing of the guard of the Robins, and then the third film to really be Batman and the Bat family versus a larger group of the Rogues.
I dig it.
All right, next message is from Tom Fallows. It says, "Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I really liked your Batman script review, and I really liked the difference we got from Sam Hamm. I was wondering if you'd ever review the Batman script from Tom Mankiewicz, who did rewrites for the Superman film. Also, I've been thinking about the Riddler from the Batman. As much as I liked the Seven Zodiac Killer vibe, I've recently wondered why we've never had a Batman heist movie. In the original comics, Riddler started off as a con artist, and there have been many con movies, TV shows in the past, like Ocean's 11, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and Hustle. So why not bring Riddler back to his roots and make a movie like Oceans meets Batman? What do you think? Would you like a heist movie Riddler? See you soon, Tom Fallows." Thanks, Tom. And thank you for the recommendation on the Tom Mankiewicz script. I need to find it and give it a read because I am very curious after Icons Unearthed. After they mentioned it, I'm really curious what that script looked like. And yes, I would love to review it on the show. That would be a lot of fun. And as for Riddler, a Riddler heist movie, how do you feel about that?
I like the idea of it, especially since, especially like in Batman the Animated Series, where most of his crimes revolve around him stealing.
Mhm.
And there is that famous one where, if you're so smart, why aren't you rich?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This could play into that, and he could do to foil Batman, because if Batman and Robin are just chasing Riddler throughout the entirety of the film of solving puzzles, I don't think visually that looks as good. But if you were to throw in some red herrings or some other suspects where they're trying to narrow it down, where Riddler might be,
Mm-hmm.
then you could include characters such as Catwoman, because you have to ask that question. There's a heist happening, and one of the first suspects you have is Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go through all the leads and suspects first, and then leading you to Riddler. I think it works in comic books, but just visually, how do you tell that story where the dynamic duo is chasing the Riddler off a heist, just off clues? Is that how that would work?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I like the idea. I love the idea of like Batman and the Bat family having to do a Mission Impossible type scenario that the Riddler set up. I think that's fun, especially because the Riddler, it's more about his brain than anything, and him setting up truly an impossible mission for Batman. Yeah, I think there's something there. To your point, I can't write it right now in real time, but I like the idea because, yeah, I mean, Batman would be the type of person who finds the way in when no one else could.
Oh, I got it. So this is what I would do. I would say that Batman needs to steal something because whatever, it's like they're in danger, and he can't trust Catwoman because he knows a double cross will come. So what he does instead is he asks the Riddler. Let's say he's in prison. He says, "If you help me do this, if you help me pull off this heist, we'll get you out of prison in the name of justice." And so it's Batman and Riddler working together to create the heist to get whatever it is that they need to steal, probably from like another villain or something.
Okay, all right.
It could be like we're stealing from who's somebody who's so dangerous that you don't want to steal from. Like, could be like Raish, or could be from like Mr. Freeze, somebody who's technologically as smart and advanced as they are. You could do it that way.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
I'm not a writer.
it's a thought though, of like instead of doing the heist to stop the Riddler, there has to be a tenuous partnership between Batman and the Riddler for the heist.
Correct.
Which would be interesting. Yeah.
And then you could get a lot of like dynamics of like, no, I'm smarter than you. This is how we should do it. And, you can get a lot of those bickering going.
Yeah, that could be fun.
With Neil Patrick Harris's Riddler.
Obviously. All right, next message is from Richard Webster. It says, "Hey, Andy and the Batcasters," which sounds like an 80s rock band. I like it. Not sure if you've answered this yet, but who are your top choices to play the new Batman in The Brave and the Bold? I won't overload you and ask you about casting everyone, just Batman. My top choice is Alan Ritchson from Titans and Reacher. He loves the character and has the size and grit to actually make Affleck look small. Also, his fight choreography on Titans is resume enough to fit the bill. Thanks for all the great content, Richard. Thank you, Richard. And love it. So we have talked about this briefly, and I'll be honest, I haven't come up with anything better than I did last time. I know that Alan Ritchson is out there and a lot of fans want him. I would be totally okay with that. I really like him. I think he could be great, so I have no issue with that. The other one that everyone seems to be clamoring for is Jake Gyllenhaal. I
Really?
also have no problem with that. I just watched the new Roadhouse. I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I liked it.
Roadhouse.
But he's he's put in the work. The man is I don't think he had any fat on his body. So Jake Gyllenhaal I think would be great as well. So again, those are the two fan casts I am seeing the most often out there. And then the last one is one that I've already said. I said it before, is Richard Madden. I think he could be good. He was in the Eternals, but we don't talk about the Eternals, so I think it would be fine. Anyone, Ricky, that you could think of for a new Batman?
That's so funny because I was thinking of Rob Stark himself. I'm like, he's got the chin, man.
He looks like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
He looks so good.
and that's my issue with all this is like when they're not in the cowl, how do they look? How do they behave?
Yeah.
It's got to be women want him, guys want to be him, just suave, man of of the like of everything, and it's just man, I don't want to be a casting director because stuff like this seems hard.
That's okay. That's fair enough. So those are three answers. Again, they're not earth shattering. I can give it more thought as far as who else is out there and might be good, but yeah, same. It's just, it takes some time and maybe someone will present themselves and I'll be like, oh yeah, what about that person?
I have a question.
Sure.
If you're James Gunn,
Yeah.
and you have your Superman, when you pick your Batman, do you want to do chemistry testing with your Superman?
Ideally I say yes.
Because we want, I don't know, Jamie has said this, I want that scene with them on the rooftop or them just in the watchtower and they're looking at each other, they respect each other, they both command the room, but they're friends. And I want that, and I don't think through acting itself you can do that. It has to be actual chemistry.
Right.
So if you're Gunn, would you do that? Would you test against Corn Sweat?
I think so, because you're right. I think that is one element that we did not get from the Snyder films is they were at odds and then Superman was dead. And so you and then you had like the nice scene at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League between the two of them, but it was the end. So I would love for this new universe for Batman and Superman to be friendly and have to work together. And yeah, you're right. If that's going to happen, test them against each other.
Yeah. And then again, when we have Diana, and then again, for whatever kid's going to be the Damien to Batman.
Right. Yeah. All right. Next message is our pal Stuart from Guernsey. It says, hey guys, with only one DC movie coming out this year, I'm curious to know which movie you're looking forward to the most in 2024. I have a feeling it isn't Joker 2. For me, it's Beetlejuice. The original is in my top 20 movies of all time, and my excitement level is almost as high as it was for The Flash. What do you think of the teaser? Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing your choices and then your box office predictions on RF for RM in the next month or so. Hope you're doing well, Stuart. Thank you, Stuart. And oh my God, it's April, which means I got to start thinking about the summer movie preview. Thank you, Stuart, because I thought it was still a ways away, but it's not. It's coming before we know it. Wow. So I should also say, keep an eye on the Real Fans feed because there are plans for an episode very soon to essentially address exactly what you're asking, which is without DC movies, what are our most anticipated movies for the rest of the year? So if that happens, you're going to get those answers very soon. But Ricky, what's your most anticipated movie of the year?
Good question. It's going to sound really out of left field. I'm excited for Inside Out 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I love that first movie. And it's when I saw the preview or trailer for that, I couldn't wait. I go, man, yeah, this is a movie that could go anywhere. You know the elements of it. And maybe because I have a teenager and I have kids and like what's going on in their brain?
It's a little close to home.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to that. The other one I was thinking about was again because of my son and he got me into these Sonic 3.
Oh, nice.
I've watched those movies with him and he loves them. So again, a lot of this revolves around my kids because they're the ones who see the commercials. Not even on TV, they see the commercials on YouTube.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So
All right, those are cool. I appreciate that they're a little unexpected.
Yeah.
I am going to say that, Stuart, I agree with you about Beetlejuice. I am very much looking forward to it. I loved the teaser. I thought it was perfect. And I was interested, and the teaser got me truly excited. As for others, I'm just going to ask you to wait a couple days for the Real Fans episode.
please tune in.
Please tune in. I'm sorry, but yeah. Point. Let's say odds are better than even that you're going to hear more about Beetlejuice. How about that?
Oh, Jenna looks so gorgeous in that trailer.
Oh my God. The way they recreated like the house and everything, like it looks exactly like the first one. So nailed it. All right. So next message from Robert Reinecke, our old pal Robert. He says, "Hey, I won't wish or curse you with 10 more years, but you're a very welcome presence in my podcast feed, however long the run lasts. I was thinking about what we have to look forward to Batman and the DCU on film, and I think the best way to do that is to also look back at iconic runs and stories of the past 50 years that mean something. We've been blessed as Batman fans with a bunch of stories being adapted directly or indirectly, including Year One, Nightfall, No Man's Land, The Long Halloween, and The Dark Knight Returns." Robert, you're reading my mind. Didn't we? I just said all of those things. Amazing. He says, "With the new era in front of us, I ask, what are some of your favorite runs or stories you would use as inspiration?" Oh, wow. I'll throw out Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run, All-Star Superman, Dark Moon Rising, The Golden Age, The Coyote Gospel through Second Crisis from Animal Man, George Perez's Wonder Woman, and Justice League International, and New World Order, Rock of Ages, and Tower of Babel to scratch the surface.
We're going back.
Wow. Before I get too carried away, what are some of your favorites? Thanks for always brightening my day, Robert. Thanks, Robert. Robert, you covered it, right? Like that's pretty comprehensive, if you ask me. Wow. I don't even know where to go that you didn't already go. But thank you, as always, for chiming in, and lots of good thoughts here. We already mentioned a lot of the same ones you did about things that have already been adapted. We already talked a little bit about what we would want for Batman, but for greater DC runs,
I got a couple.
Yeah, go for it, Ricky.
Definitely off the top of my head, Batman and TMNT. They did like 2 or 3 iterations of it, and it's some of my favorite comics. They're
so
amazing.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first Justice League for the New 52 with Jeff Johns and Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Also leading into Forever Evil. That I love that arc so much. It's a Justice League of Earth 3, Justice Syndicate, or not Justice Syndicate though. That sounds kind of cool. Write that down. The Crime Syndicate.
Crime Syndicate, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite introductions to that. Off the top, like just very different is Freedom Fighters. It's that it's the what if the zombie or not zombies? What if the Nazis won? And it's the DC heroes that are left and have to fight. And it's a really good like maxi series. Mr. Miracle from Tom King. Have you read that yet?
I still haven't. Still sitting on my nightstand.
It is one of the best things that Tom King has ever written. It's beautiful. It's heartbreaking. It's everything. And then as far as Nightwing, like all the stuff that Tom Taylor has written, and also some of the stuff that Kyle Higgins did, especially for like Nightwing New World Order. Have you done are you going to do an episode on that?
I don't plan to, but I'm a little behind, but I'm just going to agree with you. Tom Taylor's Nightwing run has been amazing, and I love it. Yeah,
the New World Order stuff is, I think, older, but it's only like 6 issues, and it's got some fun stuff, and it's got other Elseworlds type vibes. Like I'll give one spoiler: Lois Lane is a Blue Lantern.
Oh, interesting.
It's great. I love it. And then as far as Young Justice, or like just some of the Teen Titans stuff that Mark Waid's doing, it's called World's Finest Teen Titans. It's old school, so it's them when they were really young. So if you like the Batman Superman World's Finest, it's like that.
I love that
Dan Mora art. Yeah,
so I love that.
So if they're gonna do if they're doing the Teen Titans movie, they really should look at World's Finest, Mark Waid's Dan Mora. It's great.
Awesome.
Wow. There's more, but I could talk forever.
Yeah, no, that's great. All great options. The only other one I will throw out there, just because between your list and Robert's list, I'm just sitting there like Ben Affleck going, I agree. There was the Amazing Justice League Dark run. That
Yes,
was
Tynan,
relatively recent. Yeah, which was also James
Yeah.
Tynan. And I really
and
liked it.
Ram V. He wrote.
Yeah,
Swamp Thing.
I really liked that. And if we are introducing Swamp Thing, I think you're right that Alan Moore Swamp Thing should be used for the solo film. But there's a lot of great stuff they could pull from that recent Justice League Dark once they go in that direction. So thanks, Robert. All right, I got one left here, and this is about Teen Titans, and this is from Matthew Malecki, and it says, "Hey guys, I haven't emailed in a while, but I've continued to be a loyal listener, and I wanted to chime in on the recently announced Teen Titans movie. But before that, I want to congratulate you on 10 years of Holy BatCast. What an amazing achievement. Man, does time fly." You ain't kidding, Matthew. You ain't kidding. On the most recent episode, you got an email about the roster for the Teen Titans. My preference would be the original team. Dick Grayson. He was Robin, but I would make him Nightwing, Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, Aqualad, and Speedy. Not only would this differentiate it from other recent animated and live action versions, but it keeps the roster relatively small and allows time for each member to shine. Another added bonus is the connection each of them have to a Justice Leaguer. This movie would inherently have ties to the greater DCU without having to force it. Thoughts? As always, keep the bat signal shining. Matt Malecki. Thank you, Matt, and always good to hear from you as well. So I like the idea of going super classic and doing like the original old school roster. I like that too.
Yeah, the Wolfman Perez roster.
Yeah, I'll tell you a secret. I just love the Teen Titans, so I'm very flexible on the roster because I love almost all of these characters. Ironically, the only one I'm not super into is Damian. Everyone else, I'm like, yes. So any combination, I'm pretty happy with. So I like the idea of going super old school with this. I think that could be a lot of fun.
He's grown on me, Damian, a lot because that little kid is in a lot of comics. So he's gotten some good writers to kind of help soften the edges, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that is without a doubt. And so he has certainly grown on me more as well. And I totally understand why he has become a mainstay. So I'm not even a Damian hater. It's just as far as Robins go, he's still pretty low on my list.
Oh yeah, he's dead last for me.
Yeah, that's all.
Dick Grayson forever, and then Tim. But
yeah, that's all it is. It's like if I'm gonna pick Robins, I'm gonna get to Damian real late because all the other ones I'd rather tell stories about. But again, that's no Tino shade. I still, to your point, Damian has grown on me more. But yeah, like going super old school, I think could be really fun, Matt.
Do you think as our children grow up, Harley and Henry for Brandon and my kids, that when they do their own podcasts, they will revere Damian the way we revere Dick?
Oh man,
because I thought about that. The one thing I love about DC is legacy, right? And you get into arguments with people like, who's your Green Lantern, who's your favorite, such and such, who's your favorite Robin, and this. I'm not saying DC's doing this on purpose, but it feels with all the push from Damian in every media, in comics, animation, and now live action. I am so worried that Dick and Tim are just going to be forgotten like they were for years, and it scares me, and I hate it.
Yeah, I know. It's a great point because you do we love Tim Drake, and you're younger than I am, but we love Tim Drake, and I can give you a lot of intellectual reasons why Tim Drake is my favorite, and I have talked about that. Yeah. But there is also that X factor of deep in my brain, he was Robin when I was getting into comics. And that plays a part, even if it's not consciously. And so you're right, for kids growing up reading comics now, and I hope kids are growing up reading comics now. I don't even know if that's the thing.
I'm forcing them; they don't have a choice.
Good. You're doing the Lord's work. I appreciate that. They grow up and Damian is their Robin. So you're right. In 20 years, are they going to be like, well, Damian's my favorite because he was Robin when I was growing up?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he'll be, oh man, there are going to be factions as well where he's the leader of the Teen Titans.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you mean Nightwing, his like stricter older brother with the nice ass, like him? Like, no, he's not my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting. So it's a good point. But, thank you, Matt. Thank you to everybody who wrote in. We love hearing from y'all. We love your thoughts, your questions, lots of good stuff in there. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. But guess what, Ricky? we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to call it a day. I got a theme park to go to.
So jealous. Islands of Adventure.
Well, we're definitely going to Universal Studios Florida because we're going to ride ET because it's the one thing Harley can ride. But will we jump over to Iowa? It's certainly possible. We'll see.
Jealous.
But anyway, thanks, Ricky, for making the time. I had a blast chatting with you. It was really glad to have you back.
I appreciate it, man. This is always so much fun.
Awesome. Well, where can we find you out there? Ricky Wingding.
That's on Instagram, Ricky Wingding.
Okay.
On Twitter, that I don't ever check as much, Nightwing19. My PlayStation handle also as well, Nightwing19, if y'all play Rocket
Awesome.
League. And I probably will do threads because I'd like to know what James Gunn is slapping people around with.
Well, it's like I joined Vero just for Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Join Threads just for James Gunn.
Yeah. And since he's the leader of the whole thing for the next... it's funny that we say, cheers to Holy BatCast for the next 10 years. I just hope you guys go to the end of whatever this iteration of the DCU is on film.
Oh, well.
So maybe you only got 7 years left, man.
Hey, who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, I don't have another universe in me.
Every time I think I'm out, they drag me back in.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Ricky. It was great having you. And thank you to everybody who joined us. We appreciate you downloading or streaming the show. Please do follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you love the show, something else you can do to support us that is totally free and totally easy. Just rate and review us. A nice rating goes a long way, and it really would mean the world to me. Please find Holy BatCast on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and not on Threads. Not on Threads yet. See, if they would allow me to switch, I would start the Holy BatCast Threads.
Might have to scoop up that username.
No shit. Oh my God, you're right. Anyway, follow us all those places. Just search for Holy BatCast. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, that email address again is holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And don't forget to check out our sponsors over at manscaped.com. If you're going to buy something, just use that promo code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. But that will do it for this episode. On behalf of Ricky and myself, Andy, this has been Holy BatCast. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for. And my wife and daughter have already abandoned me. They're already on their way to the park. I have to meet them there.
Awesome. Have fun, man.
That's fine. It's fine. They can go get settled and I can just swoop in and ride ET or the Mummy.